good, Italian Job?
Feeling good, Tommy boy. How are you, brother?
Man, it has been a week. I'm, to be honest, a little busted up after an attempt at a 56-mile ruck last Saturday. Some guys here in Greensboro took after the Selma MLK 54-mile ruck. I made it 2 laps of the 3 18-milers, and I will tell you, as the host of the Stuff Worth Trying podcast, don't try rucking on pavement for 54 miles. Throw in some trail wear and tear in there, but
something a little bit softer is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes. But it was good. PR as far as distance, like I said, made it 2 laps, 36 miles. My favorite part was how it ended. A couple of guys reached out and said, we want to finish that ruck for you. Came by, picked up the ruck, and then basically relayed it until the final 18 were completed. So that was in true spirit of the original march. Guys came together and got it done. So it was great. And speaking of long hauls, you've got one yourself, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us about your weekend.
So this upcoming weekend, we are doing the Palmetto 200. And for those who aren't aware, the Palmetto 200 starts in Columbia, South Carolina, and ends at the coast in Charleston, South Carolina. It's a relay race. You can have an ultra team of 6. You can have a team of 9, a team of 12. But in essence, you're going to take different segments on this relay race. You might run 3 miles one time. You might run 9 miles the next. You might run 5 the next. But all in, you'll run between 15 and 20 miles across 3 legs if you're on a 9 or 12-man team. And it finishes with a big party. But it's less about the run and more about the fellowship in the van. That's the best part. Now it's sometimes it's nice to be alone in your thoughts on the run, but it's more fun just to spend time with your brothers and have a good time in the van and make fun of each other and throw things at each other when they're running and say they, look ridiculous and smell even worse. That's the best part of the whole weekend.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would change is the fact that I wish those back van windows would roll down a little bit, but you do get to know your brothers in a whole new way. So
TB, I know what I'm doing this weekend. It sounds like you've got something coming up as well. What are you doing this weekend?
Yeah, so I'm lucky I get to participate in the form of support team for Grow Ruck 26 out in Greenville. I'll be back at my old college stomping grounds at East Carolina. Looking forward to seeing a lot of familiar faces, meeting some new guys, hanging out with Dark Helmet, and just providing any support I can. So I'm leaving early Saturday. Will not be, you can't keep me away from Grow School. So looking forward to being a part of Grow School and just absorbing. And then we've got 4 PAX members from Greensboro. So hang out with them for a little bit and then be there to offer applause and cheers and shenanigans from the sidelines at Grow Rock 26. The guys have really gone out of their way in Greenville to put together one stellar event. Looking forward to it. And then also, as far as F3 Nation is concerned, our fresh batch of cadre and training are going to get their hands dirty. And I know in speaking with Akron, who's a former guest on Stuff Worth Trying, he's fired up for it. And these guys have some special tricks planned. So stay tuned for more action.
Awesome.
Speaking of action, there's a lot going on across the nation. If you're not getting the F3 Nation newsletter, let us know, guys. There's a lot of great content in there. You get to see how we're growing each and every week. The numbers I see coming through are just phenomenal. In fact, Ajay, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, how many countries are we in right now?
We are currently, I can tell you, we're in 5 continents. So we're in the United States, we're in the UK. We have some interest in Spain. We are working in Nairobi, also starting up Uganda. We are in South Korea. We have some interests down in Australia. We also have some in Central America. So we're spreading all over the place, and there's interest coming in from even more places that haven't even been mentioned yet.
How freaking cool is that? Outstanding. Guys, keep sending in the content. We see a lot of good news coverage coming in across the country. I'm excited to see a first foreign news coverage of an F3 workout. So when that happens, let us know. In the meantime, we want to dive into some cool things that are happening. This is brand new. As we've said before, you can follow us on F3SWT on Twitter. We also have a Slack channel. And as I was perusing the Nant'an Slack channel, I came across a unique concept, which leads us to our guest this week. We've got Defib coming in to talk with us about Nant'an week. So without further ado, Defib, welcome to Stuff Worth Trying. Let's dive into it real quick. Who EH'd you? How long you been doing F3, and how'd you get your name?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on your podcast, guys. This was completely unexpected. I hope I'm worthy of it. So we'll see. So I got involved with F3 when I'm from Pennsylvania. My wife and I moved to Florida a little over 5 years ago when I turned 50. So I'm 55 now, so 5 years ago. And
respect.
Yeah, thanks. And we were, didn't know anybody. We lived in a place called Lakewood Ranch, and my wife saw on the Facebook page of Lakewood Ranch this advertisement for this thing called F3, and she's the one who told me, boy, this looks like something you'd really like to do. You should go do this. So that was when Bing first planted the shovel flag in Lakewood Ranch that grew into the region that we now know as the Suncoast. So it was F3 Lakewood Ranch at the time, and I got involved there probably, I'm going to say about 4 or 5 months into being there for the year we were there, because after a year we moved back to Pennsylvania. So I was only involved with those guys for about a half a year, something like that. Fortunately, I got to do it over the summer in Florida, so that was interesting. That was hot. Yeah, I remember, I don't know if those guys remember, but the field we used was just full of fire ants. I mean, guys were getting bitten every day, every beat down, guys were, so I was always on the lookout for fire ants. But anyway, that's where I started. It was about 5 years ago. I got my name because they asked me, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a physician assistant and I work in cardiac surgery. And right away, somebody said, I think it was Drake, said, what's that thing they call that they shock people with? I said, a defibrillator. They said, oh, Defib. So it took like 30 seconds for me to get my name, I think. That's how I got my name. And then we moved back to PA. We didn't have an F3 region near us. The closest was a little under 2 hours away at Lehigh Valley, and then in Harrisburg. But anyway, I missed it, wanted to be part of it, realized if I'm going to be part of F3 now, I'm probably going to have to plant my own shovel flag. So planted the shovel flag. This May will be 2 years since we planted the shovel flag here. And so, yeah, we're not a very populated area. North central Pennsylvania is very rural, a lot of hunting and fishing and farmland and stuff like that. But we have fun.
How do you pronounce the region? I know there's a lot of S's and Q's and things. Yeah. How do you pronounce that region?
It's pronounced Susquehanna.
Got it.
The Susquehanna Valley. Yep.
Gesundheit. So 2 years in, how many workouts do you have each week?
So we have beat downs Monday through Saturday every week. So Monday through Friday is one AO. We move around a little bit, different sites. So we call them different AOs, but there's only one beat down available Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, we have one in Danville, which is where the rest of them are. And then the town over called Bloomsburg, we have another one. So that's, I guess, 7 available beat downs per week, but basically all but one day, there's only one spot to go. So that's it.
Sure. But you're providing, you're growing. That's what I love. And you're providing options each day as far as guys can either stay home in the fart sack or they can get up and get after it. So well done.
Yeah.
Well done. So what caught my eye is in the Nant'an channel you put out there, does anybody else have Nant'an week? So tell us a little bit about what even is Nant'an week and how did it begin?
Yeah. So last year, I don't want to take full credit for this if I'm stealing it from somebody, because I seem to remember last year I saw somebody somewhere say something about Nant'an week and I couldn't find it again. And that's one of the reasons I actually put that on the Nant'an Slack channel, other than to see if anybody else does it, to see, well, who the heck was, I thought I saw somebody post something like that, but I can't find anybody that had done it. So anyway, I just, as a joke, I put it out there to my packs. I said, hey, this week is Nant'an week. And I started, goofing around with that. And the guys took it and ran with it. So our first AO on Monday mornings is a running AO. And so my first FQ usually cues that, only because he loves to run and I steal it from him once in a while or whatever. But so they started making beat downs basically to quote unquote honor me. So he created a beatdown called the Nant'an Mile, and some other guys did some other things. And basically we went through the week. It was a pretty cool thing for guys to just jump on board, and they get to roast me, quite a bit and rib me a lot and just have fun with it. But what was cool was it was an opportunity to say, hey, let's see if we break some attendance records, for Nant'an week and stuff like that. So it invigorated the packs a little bit and try to EH more guys, in on Nant'an week or whatever. And not that we shouldn't be doing that all the time, but that seemed to work. So last year we set an attendance record for the week during Nant'an week. And I really didn't give it another thought until about 5 weeks ago or something like that. About 3 or 4 different PAX members separately said, hey, next week last year was when we had Nant'an week. We got to do Nant'an week again. Like, really? You guys liked it that much? So I couldn't do it that week because my job, sometimes I can't get to some of the weekday beatdowns, depending on the time. We have various times, like Tuesdays and Thursdays were 5 a.m. I can make those, but the other ones I can't some of the weeks. So I had to wait a few weeks. So this week is Nant'an week here again. It's a few weeks later than last year, but whatever. So today was day 4 of Nant'an week. And so far we're so far setting another attendance record for the week. So it's been pretty cool.
So you mentioned there's some friendly neighborhood ribbing where the guys are doing a little bit of roasting. What else is entailed other than the fitness aspect? It sounds like there's a lot of fellowship aspect worked in. So what else is entailed in Nant'an week?
Yeah, so I'm known for whatever reason. Well, I know the reason, but the guys think I like to eat a lot. So that's kind of a thing. For cafeteria, a lot of regions and AOs, they'll bring coffee to the site, and after the beatdown, they'll have some coffee, and that's what they call cafeteria. We call cafeteria. We go to a local restaurant and have breakfast because that's what the Nant'an wants. So we go there, sit down at the local Perkins restaurant and eat. And so we do a little bit more of that kind of stuff for the guys that are available. So it allows us a little bit more second F stuff. Today, for instance, the guys have to get to work early today. So but the guy that queued this morning, he brought coffee and donuts, and that's not something that we usually do. So I know a lot of regions, that's kind of what they do, but we don't usually do that. That was a special thing. And he did it for Nant'an week. And so he opened up the back of his car and he had this big box of donuts and a box of coffee. And I felt obligated to have some coffee, even though I hate coffee. But since he did it, I drank some coffee. And I don't understand what you guys see in coffee, by the way. That stuff's disgusting. But anyway,
I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm on board with you, Defib. It's not my thing. I don't drink coffy.
Yeah,
just hot brown water. Hot brown water.
All right. So it was a sacrifice, right? I had to do it for my guy. But anyway, I had to run to my car because I wanted to get my water bottle, and I came back and they had been placed best to see which donut I would pick. And because they were going to let me choose first. So I chose a donut. And what was funny was I chose the chocolate donut, which is not the usual donut I choose. I don't know why I was attracted to the chocolate donut this morning, but they were like, oh, we thought you'd go for the jelly-filled donut because the lady at the Dunkin' Donuts said that only the old guys pick jelly donuts, and they thought for sure that I'd pick the jelly donut. So yeah.
Now, to be honest, would you have picked the jelly donut normally anyway?
Oh, say that again. I'm sorry.
Would you have normally picked a jelly donut?
Yes, most of the time I would pick the jelly donut. I don't know why I chose the chocolate donut this week, but I did.
It's Nant'an week, man. Live a little. It's all good.
That's right.
It's all good. And so you have basically, it sounds like to me, the guys get a chance to, like you said, quote unquote, honor you throughout the week, pay homage to you, hopefully rib you a ton, and throughout their beatdowns. What does the end of the week look like? Is there kind of a culmination of all the events, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I don't know what's in store. Tomorrow is what we call Horsepower Friday. So that's usually when we use the coupons and throw them around a little bit. But Saturday is normally a boot camp beatdown for us, but we're having a CSOP of our own that our first FQ, and he's recruited some other guys to develop some kind of CSOP that's going to happen. It's going to be a ruck. So we're going to start from our usual AO, and not too far away is a field of a bunch of trails and stuff. And we're going to end up in there rucking. And I don't know, they won't tell me exactly what's in store. They mentioned something about carrying the Nant'an. So, and there's a creek involved. I'm really not expecting to emerge from there dry. But they're being kind of coy about what's going to happen. I don't know what else is going to be in store for me. That last year, the food theme stuff, you know, we had the Nant'an mile, we ran, it's about a mile from this trailhead that we start at on Mondays to the Perkins that I mentioned. So we had to run this, you know, you run at your own pace, but everyone goes as fast as they can for the mile to Perkins. And then you had to run back to the 6, and the 6 would give you an order of 2 exercises to run back to the parking lot and do. And they always give me burpees because they know I hate burpees. But anyway, another guy had us run through the local Taco Bell drive-through, and we had to find out what the price of a breakfast burrito was and things like that. So I'm not sure those restaurants are nearby where we're going to be in the CSOP, but God only knows what they have in store for me.
That's fantastic.
Well, if I was there, it would be some sort of you have to eat as many bean burritos as possible and then run back to the shovel flag. So
yeah,
when does this air? When does this air?
You'll be in the thick of it when this drops. So it'll be 9 a.m. on Saturday. It's Thursday as we record this. So you've got yourself 2 days to get ready, stretch out, get that swimsuit ready for your water dunk. And we expect a full check-in. No
I just
doubt.
don't want them to get any ideas about that bean burrito because they'll do that.
So you mentioned obviously, here's what I love about this. It brings out guys from the woodwork. So maybe some guys that haven't posted in a while will show up. You're seeing your numbers increase. To me, anything that's special like that is a great opportunity to bring out somebody who might have been sitting on the fence, right? That you've been working on to EH and they just kind of hemming and hawing. This is a great way to have them lean into it. It's a great fun way to be exposed to the men of F3. What other benefits, if any, have you seen? Again, guys, keep in mind, this is only year 2 and they're still seeing numbers being broken. So this is great, but what other benefits have you seen in the region?
From Nant'an week specifically?
Yeah.
I think the fellowship is the biggest thing. And the guys, when you can rally around something, even if it's, busting on your Nant'an, as you said, it brings guys out of the woodwork and they start getting creative. And when they do that, they work together. And so that's something that's happened. They started talking about different third F events and things like that. So I'm really, excited about that. We've rallied around one of our PAX members. He has a nephew who 15 years old, had a bad motocross accident recently. He's in a critical care with a head injury. So we really rallied around him and kind of made, I try to make it a point that we're going to focus on those things during Nant'an week. Reaching out to guys that, like you said, maybe guys haven't seen in a while. And even if they don't show up this week, at least there's more guys reaching out to them. And so that's really what it's all about. We're having fun with it. But for the guys to just bond together, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little different because they don't hate me, but I don't think I hated my drill sergeant. It was a long time ago that I did boot camp, but you kind of unify behind hating one guy or whatever. So maybe they're unifying around roasting me, but I think that's sort of the benefit that, that we see from it.
Very cool. Very cool. IJ, anything from you?
Yeah. I think a lot of times we forget that our leaders are normal guys. And I like the concept that Defib is carving out time to make sure he's spending time with the guys. It can be difficult to go to all the AOs, and as a region gets larger, sometimes you get 2 workouts per day, 3 workouts. Sometimes it spreads across the town and it's difficult to see everybody. So when it comes to some of those regions, those guys that they don't get to see their Nant'ans very often, what kind of advice would you give to those Nant'ans to pour into their guys, to be involved as a Nant'an yourself? I mean, what advice would you give the guys who might want to implement something like a leadership week, like an appreciation of sorts? What should the Nant'ans do during Nant'an week?
Boy, that's a great question. So, we don't have that issue because, like I said, we have 1 AO per day. But for me, I put out a challenge to the guys because I don't think anybody has gone 6 for 6 during a week on the beatdowns. Mostly because by Thursday, if you're going to do an 0500 beatdown on Thursday and you've already gone hard for 3 days or whatever, it's hard to do that. At least it was for me this morning. But so far, myself and another guy are 4 for 4, and we'll make it. But when guys have other AOs and stuff, it's so easy to just rest in your comfort zone with your, the guys that you're used to hanging out with. And I know some of the guys have some distance to travel to their different AOs. That's a I don't know what the word is, momentum that you have to avoid, or lack thereof, or whatever it is. I think it's just got to be intentional. And when you come up with something like this, then you start thinking about your guys, because that's what's happened to me this week. I'm thinking about what can I do special for my guys, at the end of the CSOP on Saturday. And to be honest, I'm still struggling with figuring out exactly what to do, but I'll do something. And I think, it has to, obviously the right way to do this is from a genuine heart of caring for your packs. Everything we do, this invigoration and male community leadership, you want to be a virtuous leader. You got to do it out of love, and you got to do it because you want to make other guys better. So I got to keep focusing on that. Nant'an Week helps me do that because it's made me kind of try to get a little creative about how I can reach out to guys I haven't seen. The guys in the next town over AO, they're going to come for the CSOP, so we get everybody together. We do that once in a while anyway, but for other guys, that is just human nature, right? It's nicer to go to spend cafeteria after the beatdown with the guys that you're close buddies with, when there's other guys out there that need you as their leader. So that's a challenge I don't face as much as guys from bigger regions. I can only empathize with that. And I would just say, doing something like Nant'an, we can really help you focus, outwardly. And focus on the other guys. And then when you do that, you start thinking about guys you haven't thought about. Well, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while, or I haven't been to this AO in a while, or that site queue, has been struggling. I need to get out there or whatever. So I really do think it works. I think it helps you to kind of take away that inward focus and start thinking, even though guys do that anyway. I'm inspired all the time by what I hear other Nant'ans doing and stuff across the nation. But I think, maybe we should adopt it. Maybe we should go to the, well, you guys are part of the leadership for, the nation. Maybe we should have a national Nant'an Week. I don't know.
Where you're headed with it. If nothing else, you've given the guys great ideas to come up with of their own. Because you're right. It's easy to forget that the guys who are serving as Nant'an or on an SLT in a region, for example, or site queues, or guys who step up to queues, it's, from stem to stern, it's a volunteer organization. At least I haven't gotten any of my Nant'an paychecks from a couple of years back. So IJ, I don't think you've gotten anything except for the corporate card, maybe. But
I was promised a pink Cadillac like Mary Kay, and I never saw that. I don't know if you got yours, but I never got my pink Cadillac.
I think it's stuck in the Carvana machine. But these are guys who, you said it perfectly, Defib. These are guys who lead out of love. And I think the word you might have been looking for, which came to my mind at least, was getting stuck in that rut. Yeah. And my grandpa used to say that a rut is just a coffin with the ends kicked out. You find yourself stuck in that rut. But something like this, something like a CSOP, something like a Grow Ruck event, they all are ways to keep invigorating towards a common goal, which is just to have a positive impact on our regions, on our communities, as well as our homes and our friendships. So I love the concept. If you're still looking for ideas on ways to honor your packs, I'm going to go back to my bean burrito suggestion. Nothing says love like beef and cheese. IJ, that leads us to you, man. What's our challenge we're trying this week?
So it really comes down to, I don't think we tell our guys how much we appreciate them. It's just plain and simple, not necessarily just our Nant'ans and our leadership teams. But this morning I was reminded, as I looked around our COT, we had an FNG this morning, and it was incumbent upon me as the Q of this workout to tell him, hey, let me tell you about F3 and what the 3 Fs stand for. Let me tell you why the magnet is the fitness. It brings you out here, but what keeps you out here is the glue, the fellowship, and building these bonds with your brothers. And then closing out in a COT and genuinely caring about each other. And that's when it dawned on me. This guy has probably never experienced what I'm talking about. He's never experienced grown men who, and I'm not kidding you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This morning we told jokes, we farted, we acted like children. And then I realized for 45 minutes to an hour every day, we can act like kids before all the responsibilities of the world happen, before we get home, get the family ready for for school or for work, and before you start getting inundated with emails at work, you have 45 minutes to an hour to act like a kid. And what makes it so important and so impactful is we're around men that we love and that love us. So the challenge we're trying is show a little appreciation for the guys around you, for your Nant'an, for the SLT in your region, for the site Q, or just for the guy in the circle next to you. Just let him know that you appreciate him, that, you know, him being there for you that day made your day, set you on the path towards success first thing in the morning. So just show your Nant'an you appreciate him, show your site Q, your buddy in the COT, whoever it is. Just show that you appreciate them. That's my challenge we're trying this week.
I fully dig it. It is fully dug. Well, listen, Defib, love the idea, guys. If nothing else, get motivated, get inspired by Defib. You know, he threw an idea out there. It's turned into growth in his region. It's turned into strengthened fellowship, as well as the third F and the faith component. We love hearing these things. This is what Stuff We're Trying is all about, is guys from across the region, from across the F3 universe nowadays, throwing out an idea. Hey, what if we did this? Odds are, if nothing else, we'll get a good laugh out of it. But even the next step is going to be somebody who didn't experience F3 before will have heard about us because somebody somewhere had an idea worth trying. So keep up the great work. Defib, congratulations to you, especially from taking the shovel flag on your own and starting the region. That's outstanding. And I wish I was there to have a jelly donut with you on Saturday. I'll be thinking about you.
You could have the bean burritos.
All right, got it. When they start putting bean burritos inside of a donut, let me know. Actually, that's probably a TikTok trend right now. Don't let me know. Well, fellas, I'm going to end this way. I saw some great advice from a man that I love. His name happens to be Italian Job. Was scrolling through the Twitter sphere today, and I just want to share something that didn't even ask your permission for, my friend, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we'll close out with this. Don't be a victim. Work harder than the rest. Never compromise your values. Spend time with those you love. Stand your ground and fight. Always fight. Italian Job, you have a way with words, my friend. I appreciate you. Defib, thanks for coming on the podcast. You guys, love you both. Be good or be good at it.